Before we get started tonight, ladies and gentlemen, on another episode of Fast Break here on IA Sports Radio, I want to introduce y'all to a couple of our sponsors. The Southern California Warriors semi-pro football team. The world of semi-pro sports are as unlike any other sports organizations. Players playing to play in hopes of so many different outcomes, whether it's playing to get film, the trial for professional teams, big-time colleges, or just playing to stay in shape. No matter what, all semi-pro players have one thing in common, and that's playing for the love of the game. The SoCal Warriors have been on a quest to earn titles and give players second chances since 2017. Wherever you're in Southern California or anywhere in the world, give semi-pro sports a chance. If you love your sport, you may get that second chance you've been waiting for as an athlete. You can find them on social media at SoCal Warriors, at Twitter, on Instagram, Southern California _Warriors, and on Facebook, Southern California Warriors. Background Check International. Are you looking to a background check a new hire on? Let Kit Freeman take care of that for you. Kit founded and has managed Background Check International since 1994. And he's here to help you with the screening process. Contact Kit and let him make the hiring process that much easier for you. This business is used for professional background checks and not for the use of any crimes such as identity theft or any other illegal activity. You can find it on social media at Facebook at Background Check International, BCI, or find it on the website, bcint.com. Now on to the show. In tonight's episode, we'll go over the Chicago Bulls winning 9 in a row, going for 10 straight tonight. We'll discuss if they can keep their streak alive. Plus, Kyrie Irving finally made his debut with the Nets last week. Can he make a difference with the Nets and kind of keep them afloat at the top of the East? Plus, is Eric Musselman kind of laying low this year until next season when his highly recruited class is coming in? We'll discuss that and all that here on Fast Break, here live on IA Sports Radio, your direct feed for RA Sports, and you're welcome to join us. Join us as you shout tonight, ladies and gentlemen, with an episode here on Fast Break, live on speaker for IA Sports Radio. Thank you for tuning in with us tonight. D-Lock, how you doing tonight, sir?
I'm doing well. Actually feeling really good. My football team, the Tampa Bay Bucks, we do got that number 2 seed, so I'm definitely excited about that. Shout out to the 49ers on that help. A lot of things is very excited right now. I know you have better Titans to get that number 1 seed, but in other news, Mo Bamba is playing horrible tonight without Wendell Carter. Looks like he's definitely ready to be out of Orlando.
Yeah, my team, they kind of, had a little seesaw with the Texans, but they kind of sealed the deal. And we got that number 1 seed, man. And now we get another week of rest for Derrick Henry. And we'll just see how the playoffs shake up by the end tonight. And speaking of tonight, D-Lock, the one Chicago Bulls, they have won 9 in a row. Even with COVID going through that team, they still kind of held it together. They're up 10 right now in the Dallas Mavericks, 32-22. Mind you, Luka's back in the lineup, but no Porzingis. It's kind of weird like that with Dallas. But anyways, D-Lock, how long can Chicago keep this winning streak up? in your eyes?
Well, this team is very talented. They got a lot of pieces here. We were talking about what they were going to do with Kobe White, and now they kind of throwing him into the rotation a lot with, I believe, Alex Caruso out. I believe this team is one to watch out for. Now, my fear is that this team is in regular season team. What I mean by that is it looked excellent throughout the regular season, but come playoffs, they fold. But I think that this team is building, or their chemistry is continuing to grow. And I think that this team right here can win a lot of games. They got a lot of players on that team that, I consider to be, stars. DeRozan is playing out of his mind right now. And who we thought, or a lot of people thought, that he was going to make that move to L.A. and join the Lakers.
Mm-hmm.
He's, doing a lot for Chicago. They have a lot of guys in rotation that plays a valid role for them. Vooch looks outstanding for the most part when he does play. Then you got, of course, Zach LaVine and Lonzo. So for me, I think this streak is not gonna. I don't think it's gonna stop anytime soon, man. They're starting to get in the groove. We all know that the NBA picks up post Christmas, and now that's where we are now, and I think they continue to keep the ball rolling.
And I want to shout out to the chat. Shout out to the chat, everybody in the chat. Terry Rodriguez, how you doing tonight, sir? Adam Karnick, how you doing tonight, sir? And I think we got a new face in here. Marcus Vitale, welcome to the chat tonight. Adam brought up D-Lock, DeMar DeRozan. Before the season, a lot of us, including us, we didn't know how DeRozan was going to be with this team. A lot of folks said, he was like one of the worst signings in the past offseason. In your eyes, with his addition, should he be in the top 5, depending health-wise? Is he top 5 MVP voting in your eyes?
That's asking for a lot, but he is playing at that level. He could be, there's so many other guys clearly we know that should be considered in the MVP. But I believe that he is one of them. Right now, the way that he is helping is leading this team. Now, granted, it's kind of not being looked at as much as a Jokic, or LeBron because of the other pieces that the Bulls have around them. But I think so. Right now, like you said, they're on a 9-game win streak, and they continue to be a force to reckon with. It's just how many people are going to sit there and say, well, hey, we want to put him in this conversation. Right now, they're leading the East right now. Probably got about a game lead or 2-game lead on the Nets. And we know what the Nets possess. Now, Kyrie is back. But, the Bulls are doing a lot right now. And I think DeRozan is one of the main reasons. So he definitely should be considered in the MVP race.
I think so as well. I think, the turnaround, his addition, to go along with Alonzo really kind of propelled his team. Plus Alex Caruso. And then, Adam brought up, Demonsu as well. His, solid play for them off the bench and sometimes spot duty starting has been a real surprise for the Bulls. My only concern, I've been saying this since the start of the season, especially when Patrick Williams went out for the year, they need some depth up front, size-wise. I'm not talking about like a stretch forward that could play 3 and stuff like that. I'm talking about some size. Now, I thought maybe, since Boogie Cousins got released by Milwaukee and since been picked up by Denver, I thought Boogie would be a good spot for them in Chicago. that would have been a hell of a spot right there for them. In my eyes. That's the only concern I got with the Bulls right now. They need that depth if they're going to try to make a deep run in the playoffs. Because like you mentioned, Kyrie's back. The only really big they playing off the only real big man they're playing off the bench right now is Bradley. Granted, he got 4 rebounds in 3 minutes, which is good. But you need some other folks right behind that, in my eyes.
Yeah, I mean, I think, like I said, I think this team is they have different rotations, and as a lot of teams, but they have, you know, a rotation that works where, you know, they're taking Vooch out, and now you said, you know, they may throw in the guy you just said, Dumazu, they might throw him in. They might have Derek Jones, and so they can still be long without Vooch there. So they have these different options that they go with, but it's working for them. I mean, to be 26-10 right now, like, this team has did a total of 360, you know, from what we've seen last year. And it started with the trade that they made mid-season last year with Vooch, and now it's coming all together. So my thing is, if they can stay healthy, they're going to be a team to deal with. But man, to be honest, like, this is one of the few times that we've seen the East look so like this, right? The East is usually just like half of the teams that make it are under 500, you know, are in there and they're under 500. But dude, you got the Hornets sitting at number 8 right now, 21-19, above 500. So look at the Cavs. You know, the Wizards are making the push, even though they're barely below 500 right now. But the Bulls are definitely showing you, you know, the improvement that they have made, and it's working for them, man. Like, and I'm glad to see it. You know, NBA is always much more exciting when the Bulls are good, right? And you remember when Billy Donovan took this job? We knew that he was going to do a lot of, you know, starting over with this team, and I felt as if when he got hired he was a great coach, but I wanted to know what he was going to do, you know, with that franchise, and look at it now. So, you know, like I said, a hell of a job that he's done. This is only his second year, I believe. So he did a huge turnaround, man, and I'm definitely liking what we're seeing in Chicago.
It's crazy. Well, yeah, it's really crazy how they're doing. It's really great for them that they are. And, you know, last year's team, you know, they were kind of on the fringe. Levine was scoring a lot of points. Then, like I said, you mentioned Vooch, and you thought maybe, you know, with Vucevic and Levine, maybe they can get things cooking late last year, maybe make a run like at one of the bottom seeds. And that really didn't happen. But now, you make the changes that you did. You signed the guys that you did. And now, you're sitting at currently right now 26-10. So, can they keep this up? It's going to be tough. I mean, right now they got a 10-point lead on the Mavericks, 43-33, as is recorded right now. But you look at their schedule down the road, D-Lock. You got the Pistons on the 11th, on Tuesday. That next following day at home, you got the Brooklyn Nets coming to town. And then 2 days later, we'll talk about this man here in a little bit. You got the Warriors coming into town. That's a hell of a stretch right there.
Yeah. I mean, this is why I love basketball, man, because now we're seeing those are some great matchups. Like, we know what, and where's that did you say they play Brooklyn in Brooklyn or in Chicago?
No, Brooklyn and the Warriors. Well, actually, all those three games I just mentioned, they're at home.
Okay, so that means that we're going to see Kyrie in Chicago then.
Yes, sir. Well, hopefully, he better.
Hopefully, yeah. At this point, we just don't know. So, but again, now we got a matchup where you're looking at the Nets 3 against the Bulls 3. You know, Klay Thompson is just coming back today, isn't he?
Yep, we're on Clay watch, so we'll talk about him a little bit. We're on Clay watch.
Yeah. So you got that matchup, the Bulls and the Warriors, another hell of a matchup we're coming into. So, you know, back to the original question, can they keep this streak alive? I believe so. But if they do continue to, man, I think that you know, this could be one of the better regular seasons that we've seen in a long time. And I hope that they can bring the same energy in the playoffs. Even though that's a little whiles away, I'm just, you know, looking at, damn, like, you know, the Bulls have made this huge 360. You know, can we see this improvement move forward and even in the postseason?
And let's transition to Brooklyn real quick. One Kyrie Irving is back, ladies and gentlemen. Mr. Kyrie Irving, like Mr. Andrew Wiggins, like Mr. Cole Beasley in the NFL, kind of dug in their heels once the league stopped doing the vaccine mandates. Kyrie is back. It's good that he's back. Made his debut, was it just a few days ago against the Pacers. Dropped 22 points in 32 minutes. To go along with Durant's 39. Now, D-Lock, we don't know the details, how he's going to be playing and whatnot. You know, I looked, I didn't see, you know, how that's going to work. But we're safe to assume that he's going to play in that Chicago game. That's a very big game not to play. With Kyrie back in the fold, can they maybe clip the Bulls for that number one seed? Or does Chicago kind of keep that stick and kind of beat them away to hold up to that spot? Because I think, before you get to your answer, I think Miami and Milwaukee at that 3 and 4 spot, and I think they kind of will fight each other off. But can Brooklyn, you know, with Kyrie back in the fold, can they make a run at the number one seed in the East?
I think so. I mean, you know what they got, those three, and James Harden, Kevin Durant, and Kyrie. But the thing that has me a little concerned about them making that fight is that right now, I believe it is the fact that Kyrie is playing away games. So, you know, the chemistry is not gonna be consistent enough, I believe, to get the streaks going how they want. That's the only concern that I would have. But for me, I think the Bulls are going to continue moving right along with the streak and, you know, winning games. It's going to be, you know, a tough battle down the stretch. But like you said, I think that the Bucks and the Heat, you know, them in the middle, they'll fight each other off. They'll, you know, they close, but they matched in the playoffs, I believe, last year and the year before. I think the first round. So I think that everything else lower than that, I think, you know, that kind of a shuffle between those teams. But again, back to your point, the Nets and the Bulls are gonna go back and forth, which is why that game in Chicago is gonna be so important. So I think he does play, being the fact of how important it is. But I do believe, again, that the Bulls are a team to watch out for moving forward. And they're not going to go away. I definitely don't. This is not an old Bulls team that we've seen in the past.
I think And this is the thing that kind of irritated me about Kyrie coming back. It's great that he came back, but in the same breath, if he helps y'all get to the number 1 seed, then, how strict New York is on that mandates and stuff like that. And shout out to Miss Angela Weinstein in the chat. How you doing tonight, ma'am? But anyways, it's like if it came down to like a game 7 at home against, second round against Miami, for example, or Milwaukee, who's sitting in that 4th spot. Do you want to go through that again? And this time around, not have Kyrie in the fold? Just because, he's not vaccinated? So it's a double-edged sword to a degree. Like, yeah, he may help you get to that number 1 seed playing in away games and whatnot. But come playoff time, when it really, really matters, will be all in vain. That's the thing. So I hope he said he's been talking about doing different kind of, vaccine treatments or whatever he's gonna do. That sounds like rich people talk, but I hope they figure out something. Or the ownership in there up in Brooklyn talk to somebody up in leadership in New York to kind of, hey man, throw me a bone. I'll give you season tickets or something in the skybox. I don't know what. But that's the thing I think we got to look at D-Lock on that part.
Yeah, I mean, we know what Kyrie brings to the table with Brooklyn, and we've seen some of it against the Pacers. So the fact is, this is now that they're trying to make a way right now to get him to be there. So it's going to be. I think there's more to the story about what's going to happen moving forward, and we'll be the first ones to know and talk about it. But it's just at this moment, you see him with James Harden, and you see him with Kevin Durant, and it's like, okay, yeah, this is what you. Now they're the favorites again. So I would definitely hope that he comes back and we see something. But like you said, going to playoffs, you gonna have some home games. Like, how you gonna? Because now what happens is now the same questions and things that happened last year they're gonna have to deal with if they continue to go the way they're going with him right now.
Yeah, and my thing is, I think for them, just for playoff seeding and whatnot, you kind of want to find the right matchup that's best for y'all, and just go from there. So I hope Kyrie. I'm not saying you put a gun to his head and get vaccinated, whatever, but I just kind of hope he do for the greater good and maybe get it. Like, my team is Tennessee Titans, folks, and our quarterback, Ryan Tannehill, didn't really want to get the vaccine, but he knew for the greater good of things that he went ahead and got it. So sometimes it really ain't about you. It's about the other folks in the organization that all make about this effort. That's just my eyes on things. But D-Lock, we on Clay watch tonight. Klay Thompson, ladies and gentlemen, will make his season debut at home here about 5 minutes from now on NBA TV against a very, very good Cavalier team that's probably like the surprise in the East. Which me and you had our doubts about Cleveland going into the season. What are your expectations for Klay Thompson for this year, D-Lock? We know he come off the ACL injury that the Achilles, excuse me. Take it back. ACL that, he tore in the NBA Finals against Toronto. Then he hurt the Achilles months later on. What are your expectations for him for the rest of the year? Do you see him coming going all out, playing 30 minutes start tonight, or do you see it taking it slow? The Warriors taking it slow with him to start off.
Well, I definitely see them. I see them taking it real slow with him just because the rotation guys that they have, they got Gary Payton, a couple of the others. I can't even think of their names right now off the top of my brain right now. They got all these other guys that can come in and give them that same production. They've been looking very successful this year so far. So Damon Lee, so they got guys that can come in and slowly get Klay Thompson back in. So I don't think it's a rush. It is a long season, but he's a big piece for them, huge piece. Another part of the Splash Brothers. So for me, I don't think they rush it. Steve Kerr knows what he's doing, especially with the ACL. He's trying to make sure that he can get everything is going well for him, and then get that shot back. Even though he's been doing it, even when he's been back practicing, but to get that conditioning in, I think that's going to take some time. And I don't expect Steve Kerr to rush him in any sense to have a full log of 30 to 40 minutes.
And speaking of the Warriors, D-Lock, I hate to break this news while we're doing this show live. And speaking of Warriors, in a sense, in a weird irony, comedian Bob Saget has passed away at the age of 65. So,
wow.
If y'all remember the show Full House, they had it set in San Francisco. I know they mentioned the Warriors a few times on that show and whatnot. So, what a weird irony. We're talking about the Warriors and this news came across. So, condolences to the Bob Saget family and prayers to them. But back to Klay Thompson and the Warriors, D-Lock. I say just do 20 minutes. Just get his legs warm. I know he's been hooping and stuff like that on a consistent basis. I think that's probably already a given at this point. They had a bad loss against the Pelicans the other night, losing by 5. Now, granted, no Steph Curry in that game, to play against them. But I think, ain't the end of the world in my eyes. The goal against this Cleveland team, who's, like I said, has been real surprised, it's going to be real interesting. How hard are they going to guard him? How much he going to get off? It's like, guys like Okoro, Darius Garland, are they going to be guarding him at certain points of the game? How hard are they going to guard him? And how timid he's going to be on the court. I hate to say it like that, but, he had those 2 leg injuries like that, D-Lock. And I know a person like you, a person that's, depending on his legs like that, he's going to come out a lot of nervousness into him. So, I say playing for 20 minutes, see how it goes, see how it feels. If you play him more, hey, cool. If not, if you got a strict schedule with him, that's cool as well. But if he can come back to the fold and give this team a little something and get his legs warm, and come playoff time, when he's kind of like shaking off the cobwebs, to go along with this team. And like you mentioned, how the depth of those guys have been playing very well for this Warrior team this year. Like a Gary Payton, a Jordan Poole, a Moses Mooney, Damian Lee, a Otto Porter also. Warriors could be a very scary team come playoff time. And especially if Clay's healthy and ready to go knocking down threes like nobody's business. They're going to be scary. That's going to be hard to contend with. And those small depth lineups that they used to do back in the day, they could be making a comeback, but you don't know which lineup they can throw at you, in my eyes. They can run out a Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, maybe a Jordan Poole, Draymond Green, and Andrew Wiggins lineup. Maybe take out Wiggins, put Iguodala in there. Depending on the way the flow of the game is going. Maybe take out, if you need defense, take out maybe a Jordan Poole, put Gary Payton in there. There's a lot of things that they can do with the healthy Klay Thompson back. And it should scare folks, in my eyes.
I believe the same. I feel like, for one, the thing about this is the last time we seen two things. The last time we seen Golden State Warriors in the NBA Finals, they had Kevin Durant. Last time we seen the Golden State Warriors win the NBA Finals, they had Kevin Durant. So everybody's clouded by the fact that we've seen the Warriors with Kevin Durant, but they forgot that this team went 73-9 without him. They forgot that this team won a championship without him. And the two people that they had going on this run that were basically the heartbeat of this team, including Draymond, was Klay Thompson and Steph Curry. So, yes, we haven't seen him back for a while, but he still could be I feel like he still could be that similar player that he was before, because the Klay that I remember, moving forward is, he's the catch and shoot for the most part. Now, he can get, some shots if he needed to get to the line, but he's more of that catch and shoot player. Remember, he had that game where I think he dribbled the ball like 20 times or something like that, or wherever it was, and he had like 40 points or whatever. Like, Klay Thompson can shoot very, efficient. So, and it's like, because he's been gone for so long, that has been something that people has forgotten. So, him coming back into the fold with the team that's already, I believe they're leading the West right now?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so they're leading the West, without him. And now they bring him in. So he's going to cause a lot of issues. Now, I don't think that we automatically see the Klay Thompson that we've seen a few years back right now. That's the reason why I said I think the condition is going to play a part. The actual playing time will play a part. I think we'll see that later on down the road, but he's still going to make a huge impact with his team. Basically, you're throwing in another great shooter, in a rotation of guys that have, the greatest shooter of all time is Steph Curry, and then other guys that can make huge impact. So, for me, I'm just expecting this guy to, do what he always done, over time. Now, the condition, the comfort, the mentality and confidence that he have post injury is gonna determine everything. So, but I definitely expect him to be, who he has been in the past.
So your prediction tonight, especially the big game like this, do the Warriors win in Clay's return against the Cavaliers at home?
Yeah, I think that they'll take this win. I think it's going to be close because, trying to get Clay in, he's not going to make every shot, clearly. I think they slowly give him his give him his minutes, log him in his minutes. I see him having maybe just a prediction, probably 17 points, 17, something like that. That's why I'm looking at that range. I don't see him going too crazy. But also I think, his usage won't be as much because prior to the injury, but when he was there before, they didn't have they had a roster that was kind of it didn't have as many shooters that they have now. So now that they have so many shooters, they're not going to be depending on him or Steph as much. Now, these other guys, they can rest Steph and Clay, and these other guys can, I believe, and they've shown it so far this year, keep the lead, sometimes even expand it. So, but yeah, I see them getting a win. It's going to be close, though. And I think we see about probably 15, 20. I say 15 points, but at the highest, 20 points from Clay.
I think I got the Cavs winning as well. I think, not the Cavs, I'm sorry, the Warriors winning as well. I think the emotion of him coming back, I think they're going to ride that, and especially early on. I don't know if he's going to be starting tonight. I haven't checked yet as this recording. But, I see him, like you mentioned, I see him at least getting about 10, 12 points. Just get his feet wet, get about 20 minutes in, 22 minutes in. But nothing like too heavy tonight. But I see them win against Cleveland. I think the only thing, they got to watch with Cleveland, just contain Garris Garland, watch the post play of Evan Mobley and Jared Allen. That's one key thing about there. You got two legit 7-footers down low, which, Golden State, you play like a lot of 5-out to a degree in a lot of instances. So, but the Warriors should come out and win and dominate that game in my eyes.
Well, we just got some news. Draymond isn't playing.
Oh, he's not playing. Okay.
Yeah, Draymond is out, so he was a late scratch. So I might have to increase my, like I said, I say about 20. Now I say from 20 to 25 points. I give him, because now he's going to be a little bit more involved in the fact that Draymond is inactive. But and to your point, now it goes with the bigs down low that the Cavs have. Draymond is that defender, but now that he's out, you're gonna have to lean on your other guys, Kevin Looney, Otto Porter. These other guys, they're gonna have to step up. So we'll see. But like I said, the Cavs. This. I don't know if it's because I can't say exactly what it is, but this NBA season has just. This got to be one of the best NBA seasons I've seen so far, especially for the East. The Cavs just look impressive to me. They've been playing pretty well. The Wizards have made some improvements. We talked about the Bulls earlier, so yeah, like I said, the Cavs are playing pretty good. So they're not gonna make this an easy go for the Warriors at all.
And before we talk about one Eric Musselman of Arkansas, Shannon just tweeted out. He said the Warriors say Draymond Green will be on the court for the opening tip versus the Cavaliers to honor Klay Thompson, but will not participate in the remainder of the game due to left calf tightness he experienced during pregame warm-up. So I guess, they tip off and then he'll foul and just walk to the bench. Well, I think it's just stupid. But, it is what it is. So, Draymond going to be out there for a hot second, then head to the bench.
Yeah, if that's what they want to do, okay.
But, I guess.
They have different reasons for different things. I guess it's a brotherhood, so understood that that's how you want to honor. That's cool.
To transition to college basketball, D-Lock, I was watching games, keeping up with games. You know, shout out to Miami beating Duke at Cameron Indoor. They should be coming. They should be ranked here in the next poll, maybe. But I want to go to the SEC here for a little bit. One, Eric Musselman, who's done a pretty decent job at Arkansas. Now, granted, they lost to Texas A&M, who's really did a 180 so far this year. Arkansas really hasn't played anybody so far this year. If you look around at some of these other teams, like a Memphis, Alabama, Florida, Duke, Gonzaga, Arizona, Baylor, Kansas, a lot of the teams played top-notch competition. But I'm looking at Arkansas, I want to bring them up. Do you think... Here's my theory on this, D-Lock. Arkansas got a nice recruiting class coming in next season. They got a lot of talented guys coming in next season. But the name of the game is, what do you got for me right now? And right now, Musselman ain't showing me nothing. Do you think he's got to do a better job to keep it? Or you think the people in Arkansas is like, well, you got a nice class coming in next year. We kind of, not say let the season slide, but, we kind of know what to expect for next year. What do you think about that? In my eyes, as I'm saying, yeah, you did great last year. You went deep to the tournament. We expect that again, but you can't be losing to damn Vanderbilt and Texas A&M that kind of went to bed last year. And especially if they lose against Mizzou here on the 12th, then they really like, So what do you think about Musselman? Should he keep up what he been doing to keep his job? Because what we know about the SEC, D-Lock, it's a dogfight.
Oh, yeah.
We seen this past Saturday. Mizzou beat Alabama again in Mizzou. The same tie they beat Florida the other day. So what do you think? Do you got to keep up, or do you kind of fall back this year to kind of, I don't know, regain balance? What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I'm looking at their schedule now, and I don't really see too many impressive wins.
No.
I would probably say Cincinnati was a good win. But I mean, you beat Elon, you beat Charlotte, Little Rock, Central Arkansas, Pennsylvania, Northern Iowa, Mercer. So there's nothing there that makes me say, wow. And as you said, I've preached it for so long, and I always talk about it because I was a part of the SEC when I first went to school at University of Tennessee and ran track there. Is the SEC is a totally different. You might well go ahead and say that's a professional league in most of their sports, because they have talent everywhere. They're literally loaded, top to bottom. Their worst team could probably go out and win divisions in different conferences, win championships in different conferences. So now, granted, we know what the ACC is in basketball. We know what they have. But to me, this is one of the toughest conferences. SEC is one of the toughest conferences by far. And I think that, you gotta, like you say, you got nice recruiting class. You got a lot of guys coming in. But at this point, a job is on the line. So these games are you're gonna have to step up and win some of these games. You know, so when I mean some of these games, you're getting into the SEC battle now. Because I mean, right now, Missouri on the 12th, LSU, South Carolina A&M again. Like you're getting into the good part of the schedule, and you're going to be facing some of these teams. So, okay, cool, they're sitting with a nice record right now. But they're going to play a hell of a lot harder teams coming up. So we're going to find out a lot more, you know, about this Arkansas team. And also, this is going to affect recruiting moving forward. But some of these games have to be won. He has to figure that out. You know, you lose to Vandy by one. You lose to A&M and Mississippi State. Like, it's making it seem as if when they start to play tougher teams, they're nowhere to be found. So they're gonna have to get it started because, like I said, even though they were on a long winning streak of what that is, 2, 4, 6, about 10-game winning streak, 10-game winning streak. They were feeling really good, you know, beating all these teams, and now they're getting into the heartbeat of the SEC schedule, and they're starting to take these losses. They're gonna have to pick this up. So they need to continue, and like I said, he needs to continue moving forward with this because right now, this can end well. I mean, end bad if he does not have recruiting wise. This can hurt a lot if he don't win some of these SEC games moving forward. Then, hell, if you can't win some of these SEC games, how are we going to feel when it's time to get in the tournament? If you make it that far.
Yeah, it's just like, and also you went through their schedule. Also, you throw in the West Virginia matchup come late January, the SEC Big 12 Challenge, with the West Virginia team right now sitting at 12-2, in which with Bob Huggins there, you play a similar style, Musselman and Huggins, the pressure and stuff like that. You play a similar style. They ain't gonna be no cakewalk either come late January. I'm looking at this recruiting class right now. Nick Smith, one of the highest rated signings they had at Arkansas since Al Jefferson. Now, granted, Al Jefferson never played for Arkansas, but, he's still committed till he went to the NBA. Nick Smith, 5-star, no more in position. In-state product, kept it in-state. Jordan Walsh, 6'7", forward guard, number 7 in his position, 26 in the nation, 5-star. Darian Ford, 6'3" guard, in-state product, number 3 in the state, 6'3", 4-star. Barry Dunning, Mobile, Alabama, 6'6", 4-star. Joseph Pinion, another in-state kid, 4-star, 6'6", 180. So, that's a hell of a class right there. You gotta, like you mentioned, you gotta win to keep up recruiting, to keep on showing that you're not a one-trick pony, like you mentioned. We kind of see that in Georgia right now with Tom Crean. You figure, okay, things didn't work out in Indiana. Maybe I come here, not a high-pressure job, and maybe I could do some things. And we're kind of finding out that that's not really the case. That these other schools, like you mentioned, in this conference, are looking to get better in every single avenue. Not just in football, but in basketball, track and field, gymnastics, softball, baseball. They are. Comes up Martin. I tweeted out from the Fast Break account on Twitter at IESR. Comes on Martin, he done went bad against Alabama. And that might not be enough to save his job when all things come about it at the end of the season. I mean, I love Conzo. I like him a lot. But that might not be enough. I mean, depending on how the rest of the season goes. But it's a fight, man. It's a fight in the SEC. Look, going on Texas A&M and Billy Kennedy. 13-2 right now. And they were at the bottoms last year. And they didn't really finish the season because the team had COVID. So, for me, for Musselman, yeah, you got a nice class coming in. But you kind of don't want to neglect this year to wait for next year. You kind of don't want to half-ass it this year to wait to next year. It's got to be a continuous thing. And that's why, you see the greats like Coach K, Bill Self, and others go year in, year out. Regardless if I got a nice class coming in next year, I'm still going to do the damn thing this year.
Yeah, I mean that's when you have we see that all the time in football. Maybe for football, it's a little bit we see a little bit more in football because you got all these guys that may red shirt, and in the NFL they have to wait 2 or 3 years before they can actually forego a season and go to the draft. But for NBA, it's more of a win now. So you get you a guy to come in, and then he's gone the next year if he has the kind of year that is expected of him. So for me, we don't see that much in the NBA. College basketball, because like you said, they get their guys and they can't wait for that year with that high recruiting class, because all these guys who could possibly be draft picks, now they're expected to play well. They're going to leave next year anyway. So at this point, focus on the now, because you can win with what you have right now. Next year is going to be even better. But it starts with what's going on this year. And like I said, off to a rough start right now with the losses to Mississippi State, Vandy, and A&M. But they got to come back and make some improvement, which I think they will. It's just that, and like you said, with West Virginia in the fold as well, they're gonna have to get going, and that's just what needs to happen. I mean, who looks at a season and say, oh well, next year I got all these recruits coming in, so this year it's just gonna be whatever it's gonna be. I ain't gonna give it. I don't have high expectations for this year. Like nah, So have high expectations. Win the game that you can. And go from there.
Yeah, I think I'll end on this. The 11th, pull back at that schedule for Arkansas. The 12th, they got Missouri. Like I mentioned, my Conzo, I think he's coaching for his job. The 15th, they got LSU. And I say this about Will Wade and LSU, with the feds kind of just lurking, breathing down his neck. I give him credit. He's still winning, sitting at 14-1. He's still winning. That's one thing that if you're going to cheat, you better still win. And I give Will Wade all the credit in the world on that. Then on the 18th, they played Freight Martin in South Carolina. There ain't gonna be no easy cakewalk there. Then you get the rematch against A&M at home on the 22nd. The 26th, you got Ole Miss at Oxford, and then like I mentioned, you're at home against West Virginia. So that's a good stretch that you may squeeze out 1 or 2 wins and lose the rest, or you could lose all those games, or hell, there could be a good turnaround for them. Beat Missouri, surprise LSU at home, and just go from there. We'll see. We'll see. But this has been our show tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for tuning in with us on an episode here on Fast Break for IE Sports Radio. I do want to shout out our member of the month. And let me pull that up real quick before we go out the air. I got it right here. Come on. I want to shout out our fan of the month, Chris from Massachusetts, who is also a Bills fan. And I think the Bills won today against the Jets. I haven't really checked yet, but shout out to Chris from Massachusetts. Your team's head to the playoffs, and thank you for listening to us here on IE Sports Radio. Speaking of IE Sports Radio, do check out the website at iesportsradio.com. For the last 7.5 years, IE Sports Radio has been bringing you amazing content ranging from interviewing legendary athletes to building tailor-made shows dedicated to all major sports cities around the country. All the while, we have continued to be the fans for the fans, and with your help, we're ready to take the next step. When you go to our website, iesportsradio.com, you'll see our Patreon link with 5 different tiers. The first one starting at $5 a month. This donation gets you shout-outs on all 32 of our shows. The higher tiers include IE Sports Radio merchandise, access to our podcasting university, and even a chance to be featured on a segment of our flagship show, The Defining Moment. Thank you very much for continuing to contribute for IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. D-Lock, how can people find you on social media, sir?
You guys can find me at Black-813. Been doing a lot of tweeting recently. Also find me on Instagram, Black-813. But I definitely will be doing a lot more tweeting with playoffs coming up in NFL. And the middle of basketball season when Kyrie is back. So let them know where they can find you at.
You can follow me on Twitter at Spawn4288. That is Spawn4288. Also, do follow us on Twitter at FastBreak at IESR. That's FastBreak IESR. Follow me tomorrow because I'll be tweeting about Alabama versus Georgia in the championship game once again. So please do follow me on there. I do another show on the side called The Crooks Process. You can find the show on Instagram and Facebook. My latest episode that I did was talking about, all the coaching changes that happen in college football and why I don't blame Lincoln Riley at all going to USC. So do please check that out. We'll be back here next week with all the news going on in college basketball, NBA, and maybe some prep news. But till then, ladies and gentlemen, we'll talk to y'all later. We're out.
Peace.